Yesterday, I went scouting around to places like Macy's, Marshall's, and Dillard's to find this very specific bag. It needed to be stylish, preferably a structured tote, a backpack that can just hold my laptop and everything that I want accessible to me while I'm on the plane. Oh, and it also needs to have wheels so that I would not have to carry it throughout the airport. But instead, I came home without not one bag. What I did find was just a much bigger problem. The labels. The labels were literally everywhere. You had carry-on, you had underseater, you had personal item, you had a rolling tote. But those words do not guarantee that the bag meets the airline rules. So what I'm learning is that you can have a beautiful bag that can still be too tall, too deep, too wide, and don't count the wheels, the handles, and the pockets on the outside, and not to mention everything that you need to put inside. So before I buy another travel bag, and before you do, let's talk about what the labels are not telling us. If you are new here, welcome to Nichelle in Motion. This is where I share my lifelong travel experiences that meets practical advice, personal style, and honest reviews. Today, I'm going to be giving you a carry-on buyer's guide that can help you choose a bag you can actually use. So let's get into it. So first, let's decide how you want the bag to move. A four-wheel spinner turns 360 degrees so that it can glide beside you as you move through smooth airport terminals. However, it also allows you to move more easily through tight airplane aisles. The trade-off is that those wheels usually sit outside the body of the bag, and that counts towards the airline's measurements. They are more exposed to impact, and the suitcase can roll away if you release it on a slope. A two-wheel rollerboard has to be tilted and pulled behind you, as the wheels usually are recessed inside the case, and which can also protect them. It helps the bag handle curves, uneven payments, and it leaves a little bit more usable packing space. There are tendencies not guaranteed. A well-made spinner can outlast a poorly made two-wheel bag, so wheel quality and construction still matter. My question is, would it be, or am I mainly moving through a polished terminal, or do I need a bag that can handle sidewalks, terrain, platforms, and older streets? I would say the final decision should be based on whether or not you want more packable space and be able to navigate through any type of terrain, or you want a 360-degree spinner to navigate through airports with smooth floors. Personal preference should help make the final decision. So let's talk about a carry-on versus a personal item bag. So the carry-on suitcase is generally the larger bag stored in the overhead bin, but a personal item bag needs to fit underneath the seat directly in front of you. It's where you keep your laptop, your medication, your travel documents, phone chargers, camera gear, anything you want during the flight. That's where you put everything in those personal item bags. That is exactly why a rolling laptop bag is so difficult to find. The wheels, the telescoping handle, the frame, the laptop padding all consume space before you pack a single thing. And if the bag is too large for the strict personal item limit, the airline may treat it as a carry-on. Just something to consider. Here's where the confusion becomes clear. Not all airlines use the same limits. American, Delta, and United publish the same maximum carry-on size, which is 22 by 14 by 9. But their personal item guidance is not identical. American publishes 18 by 14 by 8 inches. United publishes a narrow 17 by 10 by 9. Delta says that the personal item must fit beneath the seat, but does not publish one fixed maximum on its carry-on page. Southwest allows a larger carry-on at 24 by 16 by 10 inches, while the personal item must be smaller and fit beneath the seat. So let's use this bag to take measurements. We're going to measure from the floor, which is the bottom of the wheel, up into the top of the bag. This is reading about 22 inches. Then we're going to measure across the widest exterior point. This is reading about 14. And then we're going to measure the depth, which is reading about 9. Now you want to include any front pockets. If the handle does not retract completely, include that measurement as well. I would measure each bag twice, once empty and once when it's fully packed. Because a soft bag can change shape, and an exterior pocket like this that looks flat in the store may add another inch after you put your charger, your toiletries, your headphones inside, and then the bag expands, and the measurements when the zipper is closed is measured again, and the expansions are going to look different. One detail many shoppers miss is the difference between case dimensions and overall dimensions. Okay, so let me explain. A manufacturer may emphasize the size of the packing compartments, but the airline evaluates the complete exterior of the bag. So before you buy online, look specifically for overall dimensions, including the wheels and the handles. If those numbers are missing, then there is a reason for pause, not a reason to assume. So let's take a look at the hard shell versus the soft shell. The hard shell gives you this structure, better protection from pressure, but the surface can scratch. The case has less flexibility when you are trying to squeeze that one little last item in your bag. The soft-sided case gives you useful exterior pockets and a little bit more flexibility. But keep in mind that flexibility can get you into trouble. The bag can bulge beyond the permitted depth even when the zipper is closed. And do not assume that every hard shell is a fixed size. Many hard shell and soft-sided suitcases have expansion zippers. With that being said, that extra zipper is convenient when you are trying to check the bag in, but it can get you into trouble when you're trying to carry it on the plane. The expansion zippers give you more space, but it does not give you permission to exceed the airline's limit. That extra little outfit might be the difference between sliding the bag into the overall bin or having it taken at the gate. My advice is to treat the expansion as a return trip insurance, not as a part of your original packing plan. I just want to bring this to your attention. There is no universal international carry-on size. Many airlines can enforce weight limits, like Lufthansa allows up to 55 by 40 by 23 and 8 kilograms on many fares. But while Air France allows 55 by 35 by 23 centimeters, including wheels, handles, and pockets. So if you're flying with multiple airlines, check the carrier operating each flight and follow the strictest limit. A bag accepted on your first flight may not qualify on your connecting. Meaning, well, let me explain this. A bag sold as an international carry-on is not universally approved for every international airline. Airlines set their own size and weight limits. For example, one airline might operate your flight to Europe, while a different airline operates your connecting flight within Europe. The second airline may have stricter requirements that are established by the EU, which confirms that a cabin bag limits are set by international airlines. That's the European Union Luggage Guidance. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information to absorb, but this brings me back to the bag that I was originally trying to find, that attractive option. Well, I found the Bricks Trolley backpack and I found the McLean rolling briefcase, and they might look like the perfect personal items to purchase, but once you count the wheels and the handle housing, the structure and the laptop protection, some models may be too too large for the stricter limits. So for instance, United has that 17 by 10 by 9 inches for personal items to carry on. I'm not saying that the brand or the bag itself is bad. I'm just merely saying that we have to compare the exact model's overall measurements with the airlines that we're actually flying. So if it only qualifies for the most generous airlines, it may not be the versatile travel investment that we thought it was. So here's some of my safest buying strategies. Buy for the smallest airline limit you use regularly, not the most generous. Measure the bag fully packed and not just empty to make sure that you can get that bag in the overhead bin without any issues. And remember that a compliant suitcase can still be gate checked when the flight is either full or the aircraft is small. The last tip that I want to share with you, and I really want you to remember this, is to keep a small removable essentials pouch at the top of the suitcase. In there should be either your medication, some documents, valuables, camera batteries, a power bank, anything that you cannot risk losing inside of it. That's in the event that an agent takes your suitcase at the gate and you can remove that pouch within seconds to just keep it with you. So the next time you go shopping and a tag says carry-on, underseater, or personal item, treat that as a description and not a guarantee. This is how we travel smarter without sacrificing style. So I have a question for you. Have you ever purchased a suitcase or a bag that did not fit the way you expected? Tell me about that experience in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Michelle in Motion for stylish packing tips, honest travel lessons, hotel reviews, and destination experiences. Pack your carry-on and let's get in motion. Until next time.